Shut up, show me. Shut up, show me. Shut up, show me. Shut up. Oh, in the still of the night, I held you tight, 'cause I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go in the still of the night. I remember that night in May, the stars were bright up above.
And that was Still of the Night by Luke Mueller, the doo-wop legend, here on 88.8 KBUM. And Luke will be in studio later today, so stay tuned for that. Welcome everybody to 88.8 KBUM, here with Juicy John and Laser Luke. We are back at you with another great show. Later on today, you will have Luke Mueller, the acclaimed doo-wop artist, here live in studio for a live performance and interview. So do not miss that. We have so much else coming to you this hour on KBUM here, so you're not gonna want to miss it. We'll be taking your calls and your complaints, and we'll be also be getting to some great music. So stay tuned. You're here on 88.8 KBUM, Rosemont's finest. Yes. All right, it's another beautiful day here in Rosemont, Illinois. It is 72 degrees, slight overcast, but I feel like there's no overcast over our beautiful studios here at the Rosemont Business Center. And Luke, before we get into anything else, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Juicy. I'm great. The family over the weekend, as you know, we talked about it. I couldn't stop talking about it. We went to one of my favorite places in the world. We went to the Wisconsin Dells, and that is where.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as you know, John, that is where everything happens. Really.
Oh, that's where I met my second wife, and it's where I plan to meet my third wife too.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Did you have a favorite resort at the Dells, John? I know you stayed at all of them, so I think you could probably do a whole review here on this show.
I have stayed at all of them, and that's a great idea for the show. Maybe that will come up another time as my full ranking of all the Wisconsin Dells resorts. I gotta say, I am partial to Noah's Ark. I feel like that is of all the resorts there, it's the most historically accurate one. It really, I feel like, nails the Noah's Ark story, and it also really, you feel immersed into that narrative too. It's just, you can't beat immersion like Noah's Ark in the Wisconsin Dells. That's definitely the top for me.
Well, and definitely that's what I go to the Wisconsin Dells for, and that's for historical accuracy. And I don't want anything. I don't like seeing phony things on my trips to the Dells. That's why I like going to the Kalahari Resort, because that reminds me of it's like an Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore movie, which is that great country that Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore like to shoot in. That is the Kalahari for me.
That is immersion right there, the Kalahari. You almost feel
they
like
even have tigers in the lobby, baby tigers, John. Their name is Hatton and Jinx, and me and my girls and my wife, who was able to take the weekend off, luckily, and be with us. We just watched those tigers for hours, and Me and my wife sipped on some pina colada in the lobby. They don't really care because we go there so often that they let us do what we want. We practically run the joint. Uh, looking at tigers, pina colada, lazy river. I don't want to quote that one. That one classic song, Gene Kelly's song, John. But could you really ask for anything more? Really?
Oh no, yeah, the classic Gene Kelly song. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the lazy river, that's the one I love. But
But anyways, John, as you know, I have some terrible hard news for the audience members, and as you
oh
know, as everyone knows, yeah, it's a big one. As everyone knows, I love my wife, Dory, more
oh,
than
I know you
anything.
do. I know you do.
Yeah, more than anything. Except for, of course, K-Bum and you know, John. I love Juicy John more than my wife, and I love Jerry Reinsdorf's Chicago Bulls a
Ditka's
lot. Yep, because there's a lot of things because I'm a guy of passions, but you know,
Parmesan
uh,
fries at Ditka's,
oh man, yeah,
Parmesan
yeah,
garlic fries. Yeah.
can't get enough of those.
Hmm.
But of course, I also love my wife Dory, and she knows that she stands just up there with all those things that I love. And Dory, has been working long hours at Jewel Osco lately to the point where her back is a little worn down, John. It's unfortunate. And but what's fortunate for me and the girls is we get to spend more time with her, and she was able to come to the Dells, and
Wow.
yeah, and my girls just love the Dells. They love swimming, and they get sick of our pool all summer in Rosemont, and so
Ugh.
and they're sick. They get sick of Rosemont.
Oh,
John,
what
can you
that
can
is
you believe that? I know, yeah.
preposterous. Yeah,
If it were up to me, I would probably never leave. As as far as I like to go these days, is as far west as as far west as maybe like I don't go past Oakbrook. Like I haven't been to
Ooh,
Lombard
no,
and
no, no, no.
in many years. I've heard it's going down to hell with I don't want to and I've heard I don't want to appear on the wrong side of the fence, John, but I've heard it's a little bit of a melting pot nowadays.
Oh, wow. It's been heading that way for years now, and it was bound to happen. It's not like Rosemont, and it never will be.
Yep, I'm very comfortable. Me and Dory and the girls and John here at K-Bum when nice and Caucasian Rosemont, and with all the German food and fogo de chao we can eat.
Mm.
Uh, and well, anyways, I'm rambling because this is a hard thing for me to talk about, but Dory hurt her back, doing her work, and so she has a back brace on, and so we set her up in the lazy boy in the living room. And she works hard. She doesn't get to do the radio the way you and I do, John. And so, she works on her feet all day. So when I'm not here, I wait. She's my wife, so I wait on her hand and foot. The girls are occupied in the pool, so I, make sure that whatever she wants at any moment in that lazy boy of hers, she will get. Um, whether that's, a Coors Light, a Bud Light, a Corona Light. Uh, she mainly drinks light beer, and sometimes on the weekend, a Tito's, a Tito's, a
Tito
Smirnoff,
Tito lights.
Tito Lights, yeah,
Tito lights, yeah.
Tito Lights, because she's got to watch her calories. We're counting
Oh,
her,
hey,
her
hey, hey.
calories.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
I mean, that bed, I gotta sleep in that bed too, right, John?
Hey, after too many Al's beefs and Fogo de Chao meals, we gotta take that light Tito's every now and then, Yeah,
Yeah, and like
I hear
Corona Extra, you can build the waste, as you've seen. And
you.
she was
Don't I know it? Yeah.
and she loves the Corona Extra, so I had to put my foot down and get it on the Bud Light and the Miller Light and the Corona Light and the Tito's Light. And so, anyways, we're me and the daughters and the wife are at the Kalahari. We're having breakfast. We're having drinks. We're looking at tigers. We're in the water park. It's nice. It's very nice. But Dory's been, she's been getting irritable, more irritable as the trip goes. And so I'm just trying to get her, as many pina coladas as possible to calm her down. I'm just trying to calm her down so we all can enjoy the trip.
Yeah.
Then it's like maybe 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. Me and the girls are pooped from the water park. They go on the slides. I try to keep up with them because I want to spend time with my daughters, but of course I eventually lose them over the course of going on all the rides. Like we all each and I make sure to tell them, like, when we're about to go on the slides, I'm like, hey, at the bottom, let's all stay together. And I go down last, and I usually I get out of the slide. I'm like, where are my girls? Where'd they go? I lost my girls. And so I end up spending the rest of the day mostly by myself, looking for them. And as I'm looking for them, I try the different rides. I go in the lazy river, because I deserve a break too, John. I deserve a vacation too.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
but I mean, you got to come next time, John. Maybe so I could have someone to ride the water roller coaster with. I think we'd have a ball.
I would love to. I would love to. I was very happy to house sit for the family as you guys were gone. So I got to spend some nights in Luke's bed, see how
See how
he
I
sleeps at night.
sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, if you ever need to invite me, I know my wife's always looking for excuses to get me out of the house. So yeah, I did have a great time house sitting for you though, and watching all your pets that you guys have.
Yeah, I
That
know
was
there are a lot. I know there's a lot of dogs and cats and the parrot and
yeah, the
the
lizards and
fish.
snakes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I was up to my neck in pet food and pet excrement as I was cleaning tanks and getting down and dirty with wrestling with some of the snakes you got there. Really I just had a nice weekend to myself at your place. So, I thank you for going on vacation. It was kind of nice. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome, John. And like I appreciate you. The pool never looked better.
Oh, good, good.
Usually me and the wife, how we divvy up the household chores is, she cleans the pool, I clean the house. How I don't know how fair that is. There's a little more to clean in the house than the pool, but since Dory's back is hurt, she's been unable to clean the pool. So since you were there to on pool duty as well as pet duty, I couldn't be happier for what the sight I saw when I came back into my home and looked into my backyard at that just shiny blue pool.
Oh yeah. Uh, we made it extra blue for you so you could come back to a nice blue pool. And
But anyways, John, so I'm at the Kalahari Resort and I've lost my three daughters. I don't really want to, I'm letting Dory have her space because she's, she's a little moody because of her back. Her back hurts. It's no fun to
Yeah.
be at the Kalahari. It's like, going on a no carb diet, but not being able to eat Lou Malnati's, John. I don't know if you've ever had to do
Whoa.
that, but it's like torturous, a torturous thing. And so I wouldn't ever ask anyone to do that to a soul.
No, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And I'm talking to you, Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't even wish that on you.
Oh boy, will we never forget how much we hate Aaron Rodgers. He will always be a Packer to us, even though he's a Pittsburgh Steeler now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But once a Packer, always a Packer, and that's not a good thing, folks. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I
well,
mean,
well that
like,
that sounds nice. I'm glad your wife got to get away. I think our Jewel Osco workers are the real heroes that don't get enough credit in
seriously,
our
yeah, this
society.
this great this great city of Chicago, Illinois would fall apart without our Jewel Oscos, and so yeah, like thank God she was able to go to the Wisconsin Dells and enjoy, which is thankfully also not too close to Green Bay, Wisconsin,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you know that is my least favorite place on the earth.
You won't catch me within 100 miles. No, the Wisconsin Dells is the only safe zone that I allow myself in. I take a private helicopter. We don't even set foot in any other parts of Wisconsin, just the Dells. Every time I go, I couldn't even bear to breathe the same air that someone like Aaron Rodgers would have, So,
Yep.
yeah, those morons.
Yeah, dude, I don't even think they have like any cellular phones up there, John. I think that they only have I think there's one what I heard is there's only one Apple store in the entire state of Wisconsin. In the state in the that city of Milwaukee is the only Apple store, and because of that there's 3-hour lines
mm,
running out the door.
I can't imagine living in a place with only one Apple store. I mean, that is, where are we? Uh, Uzbekistan? I mean, come on. You have to have at least each township needs their own Apple store like we do have here, in Cook County. And, yeah, it's really uncivilized up there, I would say. That's the quickest way to say it.
Yeah, I mean, Rosemont, and here in Rosemont, John, we have a 5-minute walk from the Apple Store here in our KBUM studios, and
Go there every day.
yeah,
Every
yeah,
day.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, usually we take lunch near the Apple Store because,
Yeah. On
yeah, I
lunch break,
mean,
I just go over and play with the phones, and I take a bunch of pictures on each phone of just selfies of myself, and it's the best part of my day is when I get to go and do that.
yeah, yeah, and usually we eat our sack lunches, in the the area where I don't know, like those comfy areas, the comfy chair areas and the Apple Store. And usually the geniuses, they come up to us and they're like, hey, do you need help with anything? And we're like, no, we're just having lunch. Is that against the law? Like, are you gonna
Yeah.
arrest me? Like,
Try it. Yeah.
yeah, right? Like, do you know who we are at the end of the day? Uh, yeah. And that happens
Yeah.
every day, that exact
And
exchange.
once they hear our voices, then they fall to their knees and beg for forgiveness because they realize, oh my God, that was they don't always recognize us because they're used to hearing our voices
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah,
radio. And once they hear our voices, going like, "Hey, what gives?"
yeah,
Then
yeah.
they apologize, maybe give us 10% off if we need to get a new cord for our MacBook Pros. And yeah, that's one of the perks of local fame here in Rosemont is something like that. The community does pay it back in some ways. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and
so
usually some of the young female geniuses are kind of surprised that the looks the looks that pair with the voices are as attractive as they are, and they can't help but add some flirtatious banter to our lunch break, which I was raised never to turn down flirtatious banter on my lunch break, especially from, one of the great minds here in Rosemont, Illinois. I mean, I know that some of the greatest minds are at that Apple store,
oh, they've got the
but
beauty and the brains, those geniuses.
of course, I'm a married man. It's great to see the the options that the field the field lays if I ever wanted to play the field, but me and Dory are of course as happy as a clam, and why would I turn down why would I cause problems in my marriage after a great weekend at the Dells that I just had?
Yeah, it sounds like things are really going great for you and your relationship with Dory, and despite her bad back, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean that's the sign of a healthy marriage, John, is if one of them has a bad back, how do we respond to the situation? Of course she was, I won't lie, I was gonna get to this eventually, but we got us talking about the Apple Store in Rosemont, and it's impossible to get off that topic once you get on it. But
Hmm.
Dory, was having some feelings, I would say, about her bad back in the out at the Kalahari, but I would never let that or ruin me and the girls' trip. We would get back to our hotel room sometimes, and she was, Dory's, she's a feisty girl, John. She's known to want to
Oh
pick
yeah.
She's known to want to pick a fight or two with old Laser here, but old Laser's not backing down, I'll say, and and she drinks enough pina coladas. She thinks she can hang with the Laser, but I know, no, she can call me names. She can talk a good game, but I'm not gonna let that, I'm not gonna back down from that when we're at, the Kalahari and the Dells. And so there were times where I told the girls to leave so that Dory could say her piece, and she would get a little bit intense. Sometimes I would have to go, she would stop, and I would have to get her a pina colada from the hotel bar. I'd come back and get her some, and then she'd continue. And that would go on for about 3 or 4 hours, and then, sometimes I'd bring the girls back in just so that, she could go at somebody else for a little bit, because I got tired of my pride being taken down. I'll bring her more pina coladas, and I bring the girls back in. She'll go at the girls again. I send them back out of the room, and she goes at me again. Then I get more pina coladas, and then finally, after I'm talking, we're talking like over the course of a full 16-hour day, John, like maybe 16 or 17 pina coladas from
Oh
my
my
from my
word.
from my wife and partner, and that of course goes on the KBUM expense account. She should not have to pay. A Jewel Oxco worker should not have to pay for her own pina coladas. But my favorite part, I'd never say this. I'd only say this to you, John. I would never say this to Dory's face. And thankfully, she's usually asleep from her shifts when when we're on the air.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah.
But my favorite part is when she just passes the hell out and me and the girls just turn on Back to the Future 3, which is as you know, my favorite Back to the Future, because I just love westerns, and that's got to be one of the greatest westerns of all time. Yeah.
It's for sure my top Western. Maybe we'll have to do a top Westerns on the show too. But spoiler alert, that might be number one. Yeah, that's a great way to unwind too, when you're waiting for Dory to knock herself out, then just pop on BT BTTF3 and just have some father-daughter time. That sounds pretty
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know that it's not just my family that sometimes has a little, weird things going on, kind of like Home Alone 1 and 2, the McAllister family had their problems, but at the end of the day, they had a Merry Christmas, and I intend to have a Merry Christmas this year as well.
Well, you deserve it. You deserve it, Laser. With everything you've gone through this year, the whole Kalahari debacle that went on, and just inflation in general. That was one of my wishes for the new year, was that Laser would have a Merry Christmas, and you know, despite what has happened, I really have high hopes that wish is going to come true, and you will have the merriest of Christmases. Um, and I as your co-host here on 88.8 K-Bum, will do everything I can to make sure that happens.
Thank you, John. I mean, I hope you have a Merry Christmas as well. In 4 months from now, I know we'll be dumping cookies and eggnog on each other's front door, just like usual. As we do
My
every
favorite
year.
tradition. My favorite tradition. Yeah.
Favorite. I mean, we have a lot of traditions together, but that's got to be one of the longest ongoing traditions we've had over the years.
If we do a show where we rank our top traditions, again, that one might be number one of my top traditions. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the eggnog.
Yeah, if there's anything we love, traditions and westerns and the Wisconsin Dells, which actually, two of those things are traditions. So you got a few right there. But I always know that it's John who left me the eggnog, because there's some freshly ground cinnamon on the rim.
Guilty.
And John, I don't know where you learned that, but the way you grind the cinnamon at the top of the rim like that is just, no one does it like you. And I mean, I know your wife is just a lucky gal to have a man who can grind cinnamon as efficiently and as beautifully as you do here on 88.8 K-Bum.
It is, I should maybe give a class on it someday. Maybe a master class on my cinnamon grinding technique, because it is an art form, if you ask me. So, Yes, that is one of my claim to fames. It's the cinnamon on that eggnog. Oh, yeah. I'm even though it's a hot summer day here in Rosemont, all I'm thinking about is looking forward to that eggnog come December. So,
Yeah, I'm craving
yeah.
some right now. I mean, I would never admit this, but at the end of a long day on the radio, there's nothing like sitting in the pool on a hot day and pouring some eggnog that I ordered
Mm.
off Amazon Prime because that's the only way you could get some this time of year. But
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
having a
yeah.
nice eggnog by the pool on a 90-degree day. That is living the good life.
I'm just a guy who likes eggnog and loves doing the radio. That's it.
Yeah, again, is that a crime? Is it a crime to take your lunch break in the Apple store and also sip on some eggnog by the pool on a hot day? You know what? To some of us, that's just living, and that's what we want to bring you here to all our listeners out there. Is just a taste of living on 88.8 KBUM. We feel like we are always living to the fullest, and we want you to feel that as well. So, uh,
Livinning.
yeah, living in.
You know, John, I haven't asked you. I've been talking about my wife so much that can't help me think about yours and how she's doing and whether she'll be around for, to do a picnic soon or either even to hang out on Christmas like we talked about.
Well,
I haven't seen her in church in a while, I was gonna say.
yeah, well, it's been tough, trying to get her to come down to church. She travels a lot for work. As you know, she says she's a traveling wedding planner, which, takes her to places like Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and also to Kabul, Afghanistan, occasionally to Shanghai, and she's meeting with all these world leaders as well, and well, she told me not to mention that, I guess, but yeah, I guess I'm a little confused as to how wedding planning has anything to do with these places and having to go to the Pentagon a lot, but yeah, I unfortunately have not seen my wife in months, and so honey, if you're listening, send a letter once in a while, I mean, it's uh, but I still see money come into our bank account, and so she's planning some weddings, and weddings are going on in these far off places. But yeah, that's it's difficult to have a long distance marriage like this when you got a traveling wife, but. She keeps saying I could, get into something like that too, but I will never leave Rosemont. I can't. I won't do it, Like you said, I won't go further than Lombard. And as far east as I'll go is Lake Michigan. So you won't see me leave that radius anytime soon unless I'm taking my helicopter up to uh Noah's Ark or the Wilderness Lodge up in the Wisconsin Dells. Yeah, another show just full of reminiscing here on 88.8 K-Bum. And again, we have a great show coming up still to come. We have Luke Mueller, Doo-Wop Master, here live in studio. He's just outside um, at he might be at Fogo de Chao right now. We're set him up with a nice ice water as he waits to come into the studio here. Um, yeah, Luke, are you what are you looking forward to when Luke Mueller gets or Laser? What are you looking forward to when Luke Mueller comes here in the studio? I
I
know you're a
mean,
big fan.
yeah. I mean, this is one of my This one hits close to home, John, because I know it does for you too, because I grew up in a doo-wop family where we would just every night we would after we would eat dinner usually, and we were a simple family. We didn't have much. Both my parents were working class, father in a factory. Mom was a full-time mom. So we lived off of dad's factory salary, and we would eat ham and potatoes on Fridays, and we would after that we would sing together, and we all had our various parts. Like we would sing we loved singing Billy Joel for the longest time together, and we would mainly only sing that song too, and it's the only song we really knew, but boy did we know it. And Luke Mueller, would be on the radio as a kid when my dad would drop me off at school, and I just couldn't believe it. I'd never heard anything like it, and I just think that the music of Luke Mueller and the way that all he's done for doo-wop you know, uh, is why America is great.
Well, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I know all your doo-wop ties. It means a lot to you, and so yeah, having a legend like Luke Mueller coming in here, there's a buzz in the studio. I know everybody's kind of on edge because they know he's lurking around, and he'll be here soon. That's yeah, I can't wait for that. But Luke, before we get to that, uh, there's a lot of history that's gone on in Chicago. I think you know that, and
Of
I don't need
course,
to
of
tell you
course.
that. Um, and there's even some history that happened on this very day. So, yeah, I want to let's just go into this day in Chicago history. I know this is what everybody's looking forward to. And Did you know, in case of fire, do not do what this theater did? Because, as you know, safety measures in theaters are not what they are now. There are countless stories of people falling from catwalks or having their brains bashed out on stage due to poorly timed jumps. And the worst of these stories happened on this date back in 1903 at the Iroquois Theater. Wow. I know you know where I'm going with this. But on that fateful day in 1903, a theater overfilled with patrons and children, a fire broke out on stage, and the cheaply built theater soon became a death trap. The fire curtain did not descend, exits were locked, doors opened inward and couldn't budge against the crowds pushing towards them, and there was, get this, no fire alarm. Well, within 15 minutes, 571 people dead. And the dead were piled over 6 feet deep. The bottom layer had been trampled and the top burned beyond recognition. And on the site of the Iroquois Theater is now the Oriental Theater in the Loop. And the rumor is that it's still haunted to this day by the 571 people that were burned alive that day. And that has
Oh
been this
well,
date in Chicago history. Yeah.
well said, John. I mean, I know the girls. I had to remind the girls that that was what happened today, and
Yep.
that's
I still to this day cannot set foot in the Oriental Theater. I'm just a little too spooked. There's 571 ghosts that you're confronting when you walk in there. So, I still avoid the Oriental, even if they're putting on my favorite shows there, like Stomp or Cats. I have to resist the urge to go in. Too spooky.
yeah, but it's okay, John, because as you know, every time we go to Downers Grove, which is usually as far south as we go, which is the origins of Luke Mueller, of course.
Yes.
And a little backstory for those who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but he was born and bred on the streets of Downers Grove, Illinois, and he came up in the doo-wop uh the doo-wop I
The
don't know,
doo-wop scene
the
in
doo-wop rank, yeah, the doo-wop scene they have there, and you know how grueling it can be.
oh yeah.
John, I mean, over on Main Street in Downers Grove, there is everyone's just fighting for spaces on the block to do their doo-wop, get their doo-wop group seen by the local Downers Grove people who are eating usually at Egg Harbor Cafe, and
Yeah.
that's usually where we're coming from, where we just uh you know can't stop watching doo-wop. We usually meet for breakfast, but it ends up being a 4 or 5 hour day down in downtown Downers Grove, as we just keep watching every doo-wop show we can, because it's free doo-wop, John. I mean,
Yeah. What's better than doo-wop? Free doo-wop. Yeah. So we go down there, we get our black Colombian coffees, and we eat our hash browns and toast, and uh hash browns and dry toast, and we at the Egg Harbor, and we catch our doo-wop. That's really what they did back in those days too, when doo-wop first hit the scene. Was that's so they call that the doo-wop brunch. And yeah, it's oh man, it just brings back so many great memories. You know, again, the origins of 88.8 K-Bum, they uh they run so deep. And yeah, and the streets of Downers Grove were changed on that day when doo-wop uh you know emerged from the ashes of Downers Grove, and just really took the whole world by storm. And Downers Grove was the eye of the storm, eye of the doo-wop storm.
and of course, after when we uh, when we tag down Main Street, we always have to go to the vinyl record store, uh, the Windy City Records, and we're just convinced to buy every doo-wop album they have. And John and I, usually on the weekend, when we hang out, after a long week on the radio, it's hard to go the full weekend without hanging out. So we usually hang out on Saturday or Sunday afternoons, and the vinyl comes out. You know, the whiskey, the whiskey might come up. The
Oh
Pappy.
yeah.
The Pappy Van Winkle might come out too, and it's hard not to pick all the doo-wop we've bought from Windy City Records in Downers Grove, Illinois, and boy, do we own so many Luke Mueller records as well.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be going to Windy City Records the day after we're there, because we basically will just wipe out the whole doo-wop section clean. And so maybe give them some time to replace their stock after we're there, because we go to town in that doo-wop section, and they've got a great doo-wop selection at Windy City Records. That's why it's one of the best in the city. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's where I get all of my Luke Mueller records. They've got all of them. They've got even the reissues. They've got the original pressings. I go there for all the special editions as well. They always have them, and maybe sometimes occasionally they'll have a good Luke Mueller poster or tee that I can get. And yeah, it's where I get most of my doo wop merch. And yeah, we can't thank them enough. They should be a sponsor with how much we're talking about them. All right, it's just about time for our live in-person interview with Luke Mueller here in our Rosemont studios on 88.8 KBUM. You're listening to Rosemont's finest here with Laser Luke and Juicy John. And yeah, before our guest gets here, Laser, I noticed we're missing an HDMI cord for the our big TV in here where we uh
Ooh.
where we show our guests, videos of our previous shows. Could you run over to the Rosemont Best Buy and grab a HDMI cord quick?
Of course, John, and I'll be very fast because I don't want to miss this interview, but I know how
Oh,
important that HDMI is for our studio here, so I'll head there right away. Um,
all
yeah, I
right, yeah.
love the Rosemont Best Buy, of course. It's one of my
I
favorite.
know. I hate
Well,
to kick you out when your hero's about to come on the program, but I know you love that Best Buy, so we'll we'll keep the ship running while you're running out there, and
all right,
I know you'll be back.
I'll see you folks later. Laser out.
We'll see you laser. Okay, yeah. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 88.8 K-Bum. I can almost not believe what I'm about to say here on the air. I've said a lot of things over the years. You all know that. A lot of things that maybe I regret. Maybe I wish I could take back, but this is not one of those things because I have the honor of welcoming doo-wop legend, Downers Grove doo-wop legends, one of the original Downers Grove doo-wop players is live in studio with us now. Give it up for Luke Mueller, everybody. Wow.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John.
Luke,
For
it
having
is.
me.
Oh, well, it is just, it's our pleasure to have you. We get, myself and Laser, who unfortunately just had to step out. We're just huge fans. Laser really grew up on your music, and it's meant so much to him when, his parents are going through a divorce. I know he talked a lot about how that was important for him when he was, going through his bedwetting phases and other, traumatic childhood events. It was always your music that got him through. I know that. So, yeah, it's just really an honor to have you. And yeah, thanks for bringing us some good music over the years. And yeah, I hope you've been enjoying Rosemont in your time here so far.
I love Rosemont. I might say I don't want to start a little beef here, but it's no Downers Grove in my opinion because
Here we go.
the streets are not brimming with the boobity up up up. he, he just breaks into ska. A Scooby Doo boop boop up up. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
You
Well,
don't have a note of the Scooby Doo bop bop
now I
bop bop bop.
we've just met, and I consider myself a gentleman and a man of faith, but I might have to throw hands if you disrespect my town, Rosemont, like that. But hey, I can't blame you when I go to Rosemont. Just echoes of doo-wop and bips and boops and harmonies, and it's just there is just nothing like it. It's the just what a soundtrack to a town. That's really why they call it the epicenter of cultural significance, because there's just nowhere on the planet where you can hear doo-wop like that out in the open all the time. It really is just seeped into the cultural landscape of Downers Grove. And so yeah, you know what? If you're gonna challenge my city, with another. That's the only one I'll accept is Downers Grove. So fair enough. Fair enough.
not not Chicago.
No, we all love Chicago too. That might be an outlier, but but Downers Grove, it just hits different. Downers Grove,
Yeah, me and my wife, my on and off wife Charlene, we we've just we are very we take great pride in making sure that the doo-wop scene nowadays over there on Main Street is it's you know it's rocking and rolling, like we don't want to gatekeep it. We wanted to leave it open to anyone who just loves to sing, though of course if you just are the worst singer in the world, we throw you into the river, right into the river. That's what we always say.
wow.
And I forget if Downers Grove has a river.
Wow, that's rather harsh.
Yeah, but there's nothing worse than someone who, you know, like a great doo-wop singer is praised, but a bad doo-wop singer, in my opinion, should be killed probably.
Well, now that, folks, that is someone who's dedicated to their craft, that they will commit mass murder on behalf of doo-wop and to keep the scene original and fresh, and there are
Yep,
some
yep.
sacrifices you have to take.
Yep, we have our group in front of Egg Tuck. We always got them running. They're there 24 hours a day. We got
In
our
front of
group in
where?
front of, what is it? Egg Tuck?
Egg Tuck? Are
What
you
is it
or
called?
Egg Harbor? Okay.
Yeah, well, we got our group in front of Egg Harbor, and they're there 24 hours a day.
Oh yeah.
There's some people eating breakfast, but sometimes, there's people who just are smoking cigarettes that want to hear the fine value of doo-wop over by the Egg Tuck and the Irish restaurant. I grew up
Oh yeah.
100% Irish, so I make sure that there's doo-wop going on out there. And
Yeah.
yeah, we want to feel we want the doo-wop vibes to be ever present. It's really like being a general manager of the doo-wop scene because my wife, she makes the schedule. I keep everyone in line. I've got some people who work for me who try to keep all the other doo-wop people in line, and they have their own people who work for them so that, if anything happens, such as the train thing, you can't really trace it back to me. Um, yeah, I don't want I hate phones. I don't like confrontation.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of confrontation, and you mentioned your wife, your on and off again wife, Charlene, who has been your manager for got to be close to 40 or 50 years at this point. And you guys have had a notable, tumultuous relationship, some very public feuds over the years, but she's still been your manager this whole time. And how is everything going there? I know there was, several years ago that incident um, on stage at the Cicero farmers market where you had a bit of a shouting match with Charlene, and your doo-wop hats were thrown, and the canes that you would use in your performance, equipment, microphones were just thrown across the stage. How are things going with Charlene? Have you buried the hatchet? Have you been able to move past that as a unit?
It's a hard thing, John, because when you're the doo-wop king and you're singing songs all day long in Downers Grove, Illinois, about love, you really are the king, not just the king of doo-wop, but you're the king of love. And
Mm.
so, I have girls girls and boys falling in love with me by the day, and as the doo-wop king, I'm not anyone to turn their love down. And
Whoa.
so 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 Charlene and I, we have our problems, but we the hatchet gets buried and dug up time and time again. The hatch.
But that's why you're one of the greats. That's so poetic and moving. Just in it just comes out of you. It's so natural.
I can't not write a song and think of little bips and boops and oohs and ahs that and snapping my fingers and putting grease in my hair and bow ties and
Mm.
you know tapping my shoes, like
Well, Luke, while we have you here, we want to get to know you more and get to know your tastes. So who were some of your biggest influences in the doo-wop world when you were revolutionizing the genre?
I mean, you can't talk about doo-wop without talking about the Chantels. Arlene Smith, Lois Harris, Sonia Goring, and Jackie Landry, and Reen Minus.
Mm.
There's no doo-wop, of course, without Arlene Smith, Lois Harris, Sonia Goring, Jack Landry, and Reen Minus, or maybe it's Renee Minus.
Then there is the silky smooth voice of Reen Minus. That is just like just butter on toast. It's so great. Yeah, we actually had Reen Minus in studio back in the day. Like Reen Minus.
It took me a second to realize. Uh, doo-wop. I mean, also the Flamingos, John, the
Mm.
Flamingos, the Cleftones, the Cadillacs,
Oh man.
The Dubs. I mean,
Keep going, don't stop.
I could go on and on. The Heartbeats, the Cardinals, the Drifters,
Oh, the
the
Drifters.
the Desires, the Fortunes, the Clovers, the
The
Monotones, and
the Clementine, oh, the Clementines,
the
the
Clem-
eggplants, the
yeah, the Joe Piscopones.
yeah, Joe Piscatones. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, um the bass clef lips, the or what is
Indeed, John, and I also I know that I was listening to the show while I was over at Fogo de Chao, drinking some ice water and eating
yeah.
checking out the salad bar to see what they had, and I heard about Laser Luke's the tragic thing that happened over at the Kalahari with his wife and the
Mm,
her back and the pina coladas, and I know it's hard to afford great medical care nowadays with everything that you know how the Democrats are trying to turn us into a socialist country and whatnot, and so I would like to personally, we make a lot of money in the doo-wop scene. We really do.
Mm.
We're not in it for the money, but we make a lot of money.
I,
We really do.
I know. Oh yeah.
We
I'm
really
envious.
do. I mean, we do have our side businesses. I won't lie. We have many things. I have my car dealership. I have we have religious brochures. And actually, I'm going to be opening up a restaurant soon in Downers Grove, a doo-wop restaurant. You know, trying to put it in my money into legitimate places, but since the system as always has failed us, and one of my best friends, Laser Luke, who invited me on the show today. I would like to make a sizable donation to rebuild um some physical therapy and maybe some surgery to rebuild uh Laser Luke's wife Dory's back so she can, get back to
Wow.
Jewel Osco, where she belongs, where she's at her best.
Wow. That what a generous person you are to offer that to rebuild Laser Luke's wife Dory's back. That's it is so
Yeah.
important that our frontline workers are, at Jewel doing what they can to keep us fed, keep food in our bellies, and yeah, wow, what a great thing. You're always giving back to the community. And we love to see that. And I'm also very excited for this doo-wop restaurant that you're going to be opening up too.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's going to be filled, of course, with local acts. Um, it's going to be, yeah, this is not a legal thing, but we are going to allow smoking inside the restaurant.
Oh, it's
Um,
about
but of course,
time.
but of course, it is kid friendly as well. I don't want that to deter anybody. Like, we will be very family friendly. Um, and there will be food flowing, drinks flowing. Uh, you know, there might be a section with hookah because, as you know, us doo-wop heads, we love our hookah. The modern,
Mm.
not, of course, hookah wasn't a thing back in the day, but the modern doo-wop guys like to unwind with our hookah, and
Hmm. Helps with the vocal cords and everything,
indeed,
Yeah.
exactly, yep, yep, and we might be open late, 3 or 4 in the morning, and if you come, Juicy, if you come after midnight, we might have some adult entertainment.
You do not have to tell me twice. I will see you there. All right. Well, we are so lucky today to have not only Luke Mueller here in the studio, the doo-wop king of Downers Grove, but also a premiere of a brand new song off his new album. Luke, can you tell us a little bit about this song before we play it here on air?
Well, this is to all you lovers out there.
Mm, guilty again, right here. That's right. Well, coming up right now on 88.8 KBUM, it's Earth Angel by Luke Mueller. You're listening to 88.8 KBUM, live from Rosemont.
Earth angel, will you be mine? My darling dear, love you all the time. I'm just a fool in love with you. Earth angel, the one I adore. Love you forever and evermore. I'm just a fool in love with you. I fell for you, and I knew the vision of your loveliness. I hope and I pray that someday I'll be the vision of your happiness. Oh, earth angel, please be mine, my darling dear. Love you all the time. I'm just a fool.